What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 15, Episode 4, The Buck Stops in Birmingham. So the episode starts off with Kenya and Moneta in a dance studio practicing because Kenya has been invited to the Magic City Classic football game, and she's also going to be doing a routine at the football game. And she is, I guess she's sponsoring the game as well. So Kenya Moore Hair Care will be sponsored there as well. So she's going to surprise everybody with this dance routine. And so her and Moneta are practicing. Okay, during their practice, she gets a phone call. No, it's actually Moneta who gets the phone call from Roy. Roy is supposed to be Kenya's new boo thing this season. And so Roy and Kenya talk for a little bit. And as much as I want to believe that this is like a real, I don't think it's meant to be like anything really deep and serious, but I just don't really buy that Kenya and Roy are an item like that. You know, I just don't really buy it. It might be, they're probably going to prove me wrong. They might be hopelessly in love, but for some reason, I'm just not really buying the whole Kenya and Roy romantic situationship. So Kenya says in her confessional that she's been holding off on dating because her divorce has been going on for so long. But now she feels like she needs to live her life. And so she needs to move forward. And she is going to start seriously dating. And I hope that Mark does not use that against her when it comes to custody of the child. I just really hope that he's not gonna sink that low to be like, oh, she's all with all these different guys and I don't feel safe having my daughter around her because she's with a different guy every month or every week or whatever. So Kenya should not have to hold back living her life, because of this divorce pending. But then again, I can see Mark being so petty as using this against her, but she needs to move on. She has to move on. This divorce, I don't know why it's taking so long, but she can't put her life on hold forever. So moving on from there, we go to Sonia. So her brother-in-law, we all know, because she told us a couple of weeks ago or whenever it was, that her brother-in-law works for her. Now, she had told us that her brother-in-law was working for her because he was trying to get into real estate and he wasn't getting enough clients, I guess. So she decided to hire him as her assistant so that he can start networking. I don't even know when he has time to network because the way Sonia has him working morning, noon, and night, I don't even know if he has time to network. So she's on the phone with her brother-in-law and she's giving him a list of things to do. And then we see on her phone that she has a huge laundry list of things for him to do. And she made a comment about how he hasn't really been, checking off things that's on the list. He's not really taking care of the things that are on the list. And I'm like, girl, she just kept on scrolling and scrolling. It was like never ending. The list was never ending of all the things that she wanted done. And, she's like telling him, well, then you're going to have to do this. And then you have to go there and pick this up and make sure that this and that gets there on time. When is he going to have time to network? So her sister is sitting in the kitchen with her while she's talking to her brother-in-law, and the sister, feels like Sonia is taking advantage of her husband, that she's working the hell out of him. So there's a lot of tension between Sonia and her sister. Sonia tells her mom and her sister that Ross wants them out. And I thought that was kind of like, she was kind of like throwing her husband under the bus when she said, Ross wants y'all out. And then she says, I wanted y'all to stay for a whole nother year. And I'm like, you're gonna make your husband look bad like this in front of your family? Because they need to be united. Whatever the decision is, they have to appear united. Because number one, if y'all don't appear united, it confuses your guests. And number two, it's saying something about your damn marriage. Because why can't y'all agree on this? This is y'all's house. Y'all are married. Why can't y'all agree on when you want the family to move out? So she says, yeah, Ross wants y'all to move out, but, I wanted y'all to stay a whole nother year. And I'm thinking to myself, why do you want to cause problems between your husband and your family? Is that what you do, Sonia? Is that how you are? So her sister didn't take it well at all. Her sister took it kind of hard because now they're going to have to figure out where they're going to go live. And I'm pretty sure Sonia isn't going to help out with any of that, even though she can drop 100K on Ross's birthday party. So the sister took it really hard and she got up and she walked away from the conversation. I just didn't like how Sonia threw her own husband under the bus like that and said Ross won't shell out. Not me, Ross. Then we move on to Marlo. So she is getting ready for her photo shoot with her nephews. They're going to do a Halloween themed photo shoot. So she's getting her makeup done and everything. And she's talking to, I forgot who she was talking to, but she was having a conversation with somebody. And then eventually Courtney showed up. But anyway, she was talking about how she wants to get her criminal record expunged because she wants to be able to carry again. Now, she had that scare where people were trying to break into her home and they were carrying weapons. And so she wants to be able to protect herself and her nephews. And because she's a felon, she can't carry, but if she gets her record expunged, then, she might be able to. So Courtney stops by and she's having a conversation with Courtney, and Courtney's the one that's helping Marlo get her record expunged. Then they talk about Marlo's nephew. Oh, by the way, Marlo mentions how Candy should have been helping her get her record expunged because, Candy claims that she's worldwide. So I guess Marlo's like, well, if you've got friends like, if you're worldwide, you must have friends in high places. And, you should have found somebody to help me expunge my record. But I'm thinking to myself, Marlo, did you ask her? Because a closed mouth won't get fed. Did you ask Candy for help? Did you ask Candy if she knew any good attorneys to help you out? Like, what's going on? So then they talk about Marlo's nephew who was shot and killed. And the nephew was shot by a roommate that he had met at OLG. So once again, she's making this connection of her nephew's death. She's connecting it to Candy. And Marlo was mad that Candy didn't really reach out to her. What Marlo was really upset about, let's just cut to the damn chase. What Marlo was upset about, I feel like she wanted Candy to have been more of a presence at the funeral. She wanted Candy probably to pay for the funeral. And she probably wanted Candy to give the family money. I think that's what she was expecting. And I guess in Marlo's mind, it's like, what's the point of having friends in high places when they can't help you out, So when she told Candy about her nephew passing away, Candy, I guess to Marlo, seemed really nonchalant and blasé about it. And she expected Candy to have done more. And Courtney, she jumps on the bandwagon and she's like, Candy lacks empathy. She doesn't have any empathy and she should have done more and she should have reached out to you and she should have done this and she should have done that. And I'm thinking to myself, what exactly does Marlo want from Candy if not money and to pay for the funeral? What else would she have wanted from Candy? And Marlo says that these things, why does Candy keep having these shootings? And she says it as if somehow these shootings are directly connected to Candy in some way. And Courtney responds by saying that, well, it's the culture that she creates. I didn't get it at all. Because she has her restaurant in maybe in a lower income type of neighborhood, but that allows the people in that neighborhood to work. Doesn't she hire people I know she hires a lot of her damn family to work there, but that does not also give an opportunity for people in that neighborhood to work. It brings business to that area. When people come to the restaurant because they got to wait so damn long to get a table, they'll have time to go shopping in the area, give business to the establishments around. I'm not understanding what Marlo's angle is. You're trying to say what? What are you trying to say, Marlo? Okay, we understand that you wanted Candy to do more for your nephew's funeral because your nephew worked at OLG and the person that shot him also used to work at OLG. And now we know that Candy's cousin was shot at OLG. But to be somehow trying to blame Candy for this, I was just really confused by that. Moving on to Sheree. She's at the doctor's office because she has fibroids and she wants to know what she can do about them. The doctor tells her that with the advancement of medicine, she doesn't have to have any type of really invasive surgery, doesn't have to have her uterus completely removed, even though some people do opt for that because it will prevent the fibroids from growing back. But she can have them shrunken down, and it could be like a really quick procedure, but she will have like a 6-week downtime. And Sheree doesn't know she can do 6 weeks downtime because, she's got to keep Martell entertained. And if he has to go 6 weeks without it, who knows? He might start doing what he knows how to do best, which is to stray. Then we go back to Sonia. She's doing a photo shoot. Her mom is there, but her sister isn't. Her brother-in-law quit on her, of course, because you're kicking them out of your house. You're kicking them out of your house. And so I'm pretty sure Tyrell quit. And whatever Sonia was paying him, if she was paying him, I don't think it was, a living wage. So this has caused a lot of strain between her and her sister. And the sister thinks that Sonia was taking advantage of Tyrell. These are the words that came out of Sonia's mouth. She said, I think she thinks that I was taking advantage of her husband. I don't know if you were or if you weren't, but I know when you were scrolling through that list, his to-do list, it was like a never-ending scroll. Moving on from there. So Kenya gets all the girls together. She's going to surprise them with this trip to Birmingham. She doesn't really tell them exactly what's going on in Birmingham because she's going to surprise them with her halftime dance. She's going to be dancing with the dancing team during halftime. So they don't know why they're going to Birmingham, but they're all down except for Drew, who's got the flu, because it's always something with Drew, and Candy. Candy had a prior engagement. So when they first arrive in Birmingham, she takes them all to a bucking class to learn how to buck. So they do that. They have like a cute little bucking competition. Marlo said in her confessional that she thought this was going to be like a group activity, but then all of a sudden she sees Kenya running off with her emotional support companion Moneta and left the other girls to kind of like, fend for themselves in this dance studio. I thought that was really funny. So they have like this, cute little bucking competition. Kenya and Moneta were the judges. They gave it to Sheree. And her prize was that she was going to get the bigger room at the hotel. Then they all go out to lunch. During lunch, I think it was Courtney. She gets a call from her significant other, Courtney, the guy from Groove Theory, the father of her adult child. Somebody had asked Courtney, what was the status of her relationship? And she said it's complicated. And I'm like, why is it complicated? Y'all have a grown daughter together. Y'all couldn't figure it out in 24 years what the hell y'all are to each other. It's complicated. Like, you're a grown woman and you're saying it's complicated, and y'all have a kid together that's grown. Anyways, whatever. So it should not be complicated. It should be clear and concise exactly what's going on after 24 years. So Kenya mentioned that she had worked with Bryce on her movie Toi, which I remember seeing back in the 90s. I went to go watch that movie. She worked with Bryce in Toi, but she says that they had never dated. I'm not sure why she had to mention they had never dated. Like, so what if y'all did? Who cares? So then the topic comes up of Marlo yelling at Drew at Candace's performance. The performance where Drew had joined her on stage. Then after the performance, after everybody had left, Marlo and Drew had this encounter, which was very strange. It was a very crazy situation where Marlo was upset that Drew did not use the word shooting when she was asking Candy about what happened to her cousin. And so Marlo was like demanding, she was like in Drew's face, like, why didn't you just say what was going on with the shooting? What happened with the shooting with your cousin? Why did you say the situation? And then Drew gave her a little reason on why she didn't want to use the word shooting. I think she said because everybody knew what I was referring to. I didn't have to use the word shooting. And then Marlo brought up her nephew who was killed, and then she started screaming at Drew, something about her dead nephew, her blood nephew that got shot. And it was so confusing. It was anger, I guess, that she had really towards Candy, but she's too chicken to show it to Candy, but instead she unleashed on Drew. So at this lunch in Birmingham, Kenya brings it up and says, Drew told me about the encounter that y'all had when you were being really rude and belligerent and yelling in her face. And Marlo was like, hold up. Number one, I was not being rude, belligerent. I wasn't all up in her face, but she was. She says, but you weren't even there, Kenya, so you can't even comment on what happened. So then they kind of go back and forth, as they always do, Marlo and Kenya. And the conversation just kind of strayed to the left. And we never really got to the bottom of why Marlo was saying the things that she was saying to Drew. So that's still a mystery. So from there, they go to the hotel. Like I said before, Sheree's prize for winning the buck off was that she was going to get the bigger room. So they go up to their rooms, and Sheree was not happy with her room. She was like, "This isn't a suite." Sheree, nobody said it was going to be a suite. Kenya said that you were getting the bigger room. It's just a couple of square feet bigger than the other rooms. Nobody said it was going to be a suite. So Kenya's room was smaller, but Kenya was trying to make the best of it. She said she liked the view, and Marlo didn't like her room either. She was going to complain about her room. So they were expecting, these big, grand, luxurious suites just for like a day in Birmingham. Are you kidding me? So after that, they all got ready to go to this charity event. So Kenya kept on talking about this charity event, how I don't think she said she was going to be honored, but she was invited to a charity event. And so she tells, I guess the girls were supposed to, get all gussied up. And your girl Manetta came down in this like jumper. It was a short, it was like shorts. It was like a jumper or something. And it looked like it was made out of aluminum foil. And so Kenya was like, "Girl, you can't wear that to this charity event. This isn't the club. We're not going to the club. We're going to a charity event." So when Manetta went back up to go get changed, Kenya left. Her and the other women left because she was like, "I got to be there at a certain time. I can't be late because they expect me there to be there at a certain time." So they left Manetta behind, but they all ended up showing up at the event at exactly the same time. I'm not even sure. I think Manetta came a little bit before Kenya and her crew arrived. So they really could have waited for Manetta. So at the event, she had the girls believing that it was going to be some big black tie gala where people were going to be dressed to the nines in their very best, but it was so casual. It wasn't even funny. People were there in like their regular business casual type of attire. Like it was Friday, everybody had on their Friday office clothes, Friday work clothes, and they just got off work and decided to stop by this charity event. So all the girls were like, "What the hell is this? This is not what we expected. This is not it at all." So there's like a big to do around them because they have the whole camera crew around them. They got bottles that have like the firecrackers popping out of them and stuff. So they're going outside. They sit down outside on the patio or on the roof or wherever they were at, and production calls Kenya to the side and they tell Kenya, "Well, the organizers of the charity event want us to leave because we're too much of a distraction. The guests are distracted by all the cameras and all of y'all, so we're gonna have to leave." So she tells the ladies they're gonna have to leave. Okay, fine. So they leave. They get back to the hotel, and when they get to the hotel, Kenya books it. She leaves. She does what she does best. She disappears. And she went back up to her room because she was done for the night. So people were like, "Where's Kenya? Where's Kenya?" And I guess somebody said, "Oh, Kenya went up to her room. She's done for the night." And Marlo was like, "The hell she is. This is what she always does. And the buck stops here. We're not going to put up with this of her just, leaving the group like this." So they go up to her room and they start banging on her door, kicking her door. Marlo was yelling, "Summer, Summer." I don't know what the hell that meant. It was just so bizarre. Like these grown women yelling and screaming in front of somebody's hotel door, banging on her door, kicking her door. What was going on? And so then Kenya opens up the door just to crack, and she's like, "What the hell are y'all doing? I got my kid in here." And Marlo says something about she needs to put her kid in another room and come back downstairs with us. Why? Why does she have to do that? I don't understand why she has to come down with y'all. If she doesn't want, she's got a child that she's responsible for. And she can only leave her kid with the nanny, so many times and for so long before Mark probably is going to try to use that against her as well. So she has to be with her kid. Y'all can do the rest of the scene without her. Marlo doesn't like her. Sonia really doesn't care for her. Courtney probably doesn't care for her because, Kenya and Candy are friends. Manetta, she's Kenya's friend. So she was probably the only one really defending Kenya. But I didn't understand why Kenya had to be there. Like, why can't y'all just do the scene without her? Anyways, y'all can't carry one scene without Kenya. Okay, so that's where the scene ended, with them banging on her door and her opening up her door. Like, what the hell are y'all doing? And I think she had threatened to call the police on them or something. It was insane. I mean, so much of this show is not making any sense to me at all whatsoever. But Sonia, girl, what you did to your husband was 100% wrong. Okay, that man wants his house back. There's nothing wrong with that. And you know damn well that you're okay with your family leaving, unless, because what it seems like to me is that she's probably, her sister even said it. Her sister even said that, you know, if we were to leave, who is she gonna have, you know, to watch her kid and stuff? Like, her sister even knows what's up. Like, Sonia is just using me and my husband for her business, to watch her kid, because she even said, her sister said something about, you know, because we're here, her and Ross have a lot more freedom because they're always there to watch her child. So yeah, Sonia, you're foul. You're absolutely foul for what you did to your husband, for what you're doing to your family, taking advantage of your family. You're just foul all the way around. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, go ahead and subscribe, and I will definitely talk to you later. Bye.